I think it's too much pressure for people to go to college. I think it's this like illusion of fantasy that everybody got to go the 4 year route. And I don't think people take a lot of time to analyze who they are, like Trey was saying, and figure out what it is that you want to do. I do teach. I've always told my children about trades because I just know school is not for everybody. I have not pushed the military, so I will say, Darwin, you've been really informative about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody. We both know that. But I do think it's a conversation that we need to have surrounding discipline. Some people may say it's extreme, but then if you analyze everything that we're going through, it's really
Exactly.
extreme. So we got to be open to different perspectives. Again, it's not for everybody. Just like the 4 year college, community college, not for everybody. Trade's not for everybody. So I think we just need to really just focus on what we need to do as an individual and stop putting so much pressure on colleges. And I'm just keep it real. A lot of us as Black people, we do too much showboating. Like I watch a lot of people with their proms and they send offs, and it's like a lot of money that they spend for that. And when you ask people like, do you even have a savings for the kids to go to college? Oh, we'll figure it out. You're supposed to
Mm.
figure it out already. And then you look at other people, families, and they just get a stretch. And people put on a little blazer and a dress from the boutique, and they do their thing. I mean, it's more of a financial literacy, and again, it's a discipline thing. So, again, figure out
The,
what works for you. I think everybody delivered a lot of options and perspectives that people can look into to have a wider range perspective. I can't just say anybody tonight was just full correct for everybody. Like we don't have a universal answer for everybody. I think everybody delivered some great points. So kudos.
well, I will say this after you get out of the military, and I'm glad you touched on that the contrast between what young Black men and women are going through right out of high school versus what they can actually achieve if they just go into college. I think that's important. I actually recommend any, especially women who don't have their kids' fathers around. You just don't know the tremendous transformation that it happens for a young boy growing up without a father to go and how he turns out after going into the military. It's just phenomenal. You would lose all hope thinking that as a woman raising that kid on your own and all of the challenges that you went through and then see that man on graduation day. I'm telling you, these when I went to go see my nephew graduate because he was in risk of being put in a foster home. It's my sister's oldest, one of my sister's son. He was 16 at the time, and they live in Alabama. And I had to go and get him because my grandmother was getting sick, and she died, and she ended up dying. She passed away. She couldn't deal with raising him, and my sister trying to rip him off on the weekends. I mean, take him out of the home without her permission on the weekend. And she didn't have any legal rights to custody over him because of her drug uses, and criminal charges. So none of my other brothers were doing well enough. So it was up to me. So I went and got him, and I told him, "Hey, look, you're gonna go into the military," because he was timid, he was introverted. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have anything. I told him what he was gonna do asked him what he was gonna do at the high school. He liked to hang out with the guy that one of his friends that graduated years ago that works at McDonald's and said he want to work at McDonald's. I said, "Oh hell no!
Couldn't he just went into
You gonna
sales?
go?" I said, "You're gonna go in the military because it's gonna give you that. It's gonna change your mind, the way you think, physical, all of these."
Couldn't he just
Hold
went
on,
into
but
sales?
no, he needed to go to the
Why not?
military. He needed
You're talking about,
he needed a
Come
he needed a mindset recalibration. It was severe. And
but
when I
Darwin,
tell you,
his
when his damn brother, you messing up a powerful testimonial informational story right now. When his mother went to Paris Island with us a couple of years back, was it last year? Because he just graduated high school. He's in the infantry now. When his mother, my sister, when she saw him, she did not recognize him. She was like, "Oh my God, this he just looked like a grown ass man. Like he just the way his mannerism, he would his voice was very low. Like he would sound off now. Like he was his back was straight. You know, his shoulders were back. He looked like a man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the uniform. It was just his spirit. His soul was different. And she broke down in tears. I almost cried. Man, my wife was so happy that we was able to experience that moment. And this guy's going to do great things. And I told him I got his back all the way through. You know what I'm saying? Just continue to do what you do. You're going to have mistakes, but just call me if you ever have any issues. But the benefits that you're able to get, speaking to the housing thing specifically, you have zero down payment. Veterans can buy a house without having to save tens of thousands up front. There's no private mortgage insurance. They call it a PMI.
PMI.
Yeah, the civilians with less than 20% down usually pay PMI. Vets save hundreds monthly. There's competitive interest rates. VA loans often come with lower. I'm talking about extremely lower than conventional loans. And you got reusable benefits.
I was gonna say you could use your VA loan more than once.
God, this is just not a one-time deal. You can be used multiple times throughout life. Assumable loans. Have you anybody ever heard of an assumable loan? VA loans can be transferred to another qualified buyer. That's a big perk if interest rates rise. So imagine if Will bought a house and the interest rate was 2% back when he bought it. And I said, hey, look, I need that house. Sell me the house. Hey, look, I'm going to allow you to assume this loan. And let's say today the interest rate is 8%. I'm going to be on that loan at 2%.
You can do that in the civilian world too.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can, bro. I buy real estate.
This is
and you tell us how.
This is for VA loans, bro. This is for VA loans.
I'm not talking about a VA loan. I'm talking about
VA loans. I don't know anything about I only know VA loans you can do. Like, I ain't never heard nobody.
You can assume any loan if the bank and the person is qualified.
You do know they have seller financing loans too.
Okay. Well, let me just land. There's also this thing called early home ownership. Let's, for example, like I'm talking about young people buying homes. Like imagine a 22-year-old college grad. They probably renting and they probably in debt. A 22-year-old vet, military, can go and buy a home while he as a college grad and go actually buy a home. So your equity, when you want to start building equity, you can start early. You don't have to wait till it's financial security. You got lower monthly payments,
life insurance.
You could start a family. You could start a family, y'all.
Life insurance.
So are y'all listening?
Yeah, but I get it. It's not a bad option. There's some awesome benefits to that, and for his particular situation, and from what Darwin's experience was in life, it made perfect sense for that situation. I don't think it's going to work for everybody, but in that particular situation, I see exactly why he did it, and it's a viable option. This is what I recommend people do. How many of us, as parents, sent our teenagers to take a career aptitude test to see what it is that they will actually be good at? Are people doing this? See, and that's one of the main things we need to do. First off, see where you at. At least see where you at. See what type of job you can get into, and then make a move. As everybody's going to be different.
They have that in the military called ASVAB.
But understanding your child and what they need. I knew my middle son was not a college kid. He went to trade school, and then after that he went to Job Corps. That was his path. That wasn't my oldest son's path. But knowing your children and knowing what's best for them, I'm not going to push my kids to do something that they may not benefit from. How do you know what's
best for them if they even never raised the kid up to see how he would do? You yourself even said, you went on the record and said you can never know somebody. You can know somebody
but
for
I know
25
my kids.
years.
I've raised them, so I know what they were able to do and what they weren't.
How can you say the military? How can you say the military is not for them? You've never known anybody in the military.
Yes, I do. My ex-boyfriend was in the military. He's doing 25 years. He's going on his 25th years in the military, and he's went through all those benefits. But he also has a lot of mental health issues. He also has deafness in his ear from being at war. He also has a lot of other things that people don't speak about, and the VA hospitals aren't always the best.
All I'm saying is
that's a viable option.
All of these issues y'all are saying, issues y'all are saying that we're in the military.
Not for everybody.
All the issues y'all are saying that we're in people receive from being in the military. They also overlap in the civilian world. You have I would argue that you have more mental health issues just being raised in poverty in the inner cities and just going off without having any correction. At least you got the military that's working as a buffer to correct the direction you're going in. That's all I'm saying. And this notion that we got I don't think the military works for everybody. it doesn't matter if it is irrelevant whether it works. I'm not arguing to say that it works for everybody. Even just going out straight from the household into high school and to college doesn't work for everybody. So we can dismiss that it doesn't work for everybody. That's irrelevant. The thing that you have a higher probability of being successful in life, the turnout is way better if you go through the military.
Darwin, so I'm gonna ask you again, what's the average salary of guys post-military?
I can look it up. I don't know right offhand.
But what do you think it is?
I don't know.
Do you think it's 6 figures plus?
No, I don't believe it's 6 figures plus.
So, okay. So I'm not going to tell you people should go to the military. I'm not going to tell you they shouldn't go to the military. I don't give a damn what people decide to do. I'm with Trev. That it is a viable option. Is it the option? No, it's not the option for everybody. I would never encourage my sons. I don't have any sons though. So I would never encourage my daughters to go to the military. What I will encourage all people to do, which they don't have to do. Like, you're an advocate for the military. I'm an advocate for people should go into sales. Does that mean they need to have a sales career? No. I just told y'all people should get a trade. But sales is like a trade. I strongly advise people to go into sales because it's the smallest barrier of entry. Most people will hire you because sales have extremely high turnover, and sales is the most lucrative industry in the world. You're not going to find anybody making more money than people in the sales departments. You take whatever industry you have, and the sales division of that company is going to make the most money.
I want to say something though. I come from
it's the lifeline.
It's military vets in my family, my father, my grandfather, my son. And I want to be very clear about, it's not even about necessarily the salary, the discipline and the knowledge and the get up and go that veterans have is something I don't see a lot of civilian men. Not saying a civilian man can't have it, but vets, they have something that a lot of civilians don't have, and that they are disciplined and that they can be proud of themselves. A lot of men in civilian world, they don't have no purpose. They be like, oh, what do you do? They be all day. The vets be very proud to serve the country.
If that's so true, why aren't all the people who have jobs working for military personnel? Why are all the VPs, the directors, the CEOs, the regional managers, why aren't all these guys former military?
Who do you work for, Will? Because you always putting other people down. What do you do?
Ma'am, I own multiple companies, so I don't work for anybody.
Such as?
So you don't answer. I don't know, remember? I don't know.
I know you don't know because you're popping and you putting down everybody else that have real.
Nobody down.
You putting down the men that have real discipline, men that have served the country, men that have served the country.
Did you hear me put somebody down?
The men that have served the country, where you can get on here and run your mouth.
You hear me put somebody down?
You get on here and run your mouth like a girl, but because they serve the country, you're able to do that.
Not necessarily.
Well, I can answer.
Girl, did you hear me put somebody down?
To Will's point.
What is she listening to?
Because I'm in sales. Sales is the lifeline to any business. If you
without the military, you wouldn't be no sales.
It is the lifeline to your business is knowing sales.
Without the military, it wouldn't be no sales. It wouldn't be no
look, I'm not trying to have a pissing contest on which one is better. My whole argument is not on which one is better. My whole argument is that the military, regardless whether it's just I think specifically for our people specifically, the way our minds are coming out of our households, and we've had this conversation so many times. If the sales can give, if you can argue me and convince me that sales can give you the mindset recalibration on the level of the military, then I would have the level of the
military.
I'm just saying, I don't know how else to rephrase.
Why does it have to? Why does it have to be at the level of the military?
Because that would convince me that the sales
does it need to be sufficient.
Well, I'm trying to answer your question.
Level of
just trying to answer the question, but you stacking more questions.
No, I'm asking one question.
Well, whenever I got ready to answer, you stacked another one.
Okay, go ahead.
Both y'all selling.
So what I'm saying is, the reason why I'm saying if sales was able to give young black boys or young black women the mindset recalibration necessary to do away with all the shit we've been through that we complain about on these panels, childhood trauma, we throw it up on every fucking topic. If sales, going to the sales can do that on the level of the military, I didn't say better, just at that level, and I wouldn't be sitting here arguing. But there's nobody on this panel that can convince.
Let me respond to that. Damn, wouldn't, because you don't have to give away your freedom to be in sales.
I never gave away my freedom.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
So when you joined the military, you could just quit whenever you want?
Yeah. It's called AWOL.
Yes, and that's a dishonorable discharge. You're not gonna get no housing. You're
And
not
they
gonna get
come
no
and get
jobs.
you.
You will go to jail.
You didn't ask me what was the ramification for quitting. I'm gonna pull one of your cards, Will. You said, could I?
his ass up. You
Hold
going
on,
to
hold on.
jail.
So if you quit
You're
the
going to
military,
jail.
will you go to jail?
You no. See, now you moving the goalpost. You said, can
No, I said
military.
your freedom, sir. Hold on, Darwin. If you just go AWOL from
That's
the
my
military,
nigga Will. I
will
ain't
you
gonna do
go
my
to
nigga
jail?
Will like that.
Hold on, will you go to jail?
No, hold on. Dial
If
it.
you go
Hold on, wait.
AWOL,
I'm gonna answer that question, but at least understand the response to the first question you asked, and let me know that you accept that answer before you move the goalpost.
I didn't move the goalpost.
You're stacking. You remember how I told you you're stacking. Trev, he's stacking.
I said you have to give up your freedom. Is that not what I said?
And I said you do not have to give up your freedom. And you said, can you quit the military? And I said yes.
And I said, will you go to jail?
Yeah, if they catch you, you will go to jail.
That means you're giving up your freedom.
Freedom.
You go to, listen,
Jail for a lot of
the
things in America.
only way you're gonna, the only time you're gonna go to jail, they're gonna process you out of the military and kick you out. But they take you to jail to hold you for processing, so you can get court-martialed out of the military and you get a dishonorable discharge. The only reason why they bring you back to hold you is so they can prepare you for out processing.
You don't want that because that's like a criminal offense.
I didn't say that you didn't want it. I'm not arguing whether it's a bad
government
thing. I'm just saying you do not have to stay in there if you do not want to. In fact, up until a recent point where they had don't ask, don't tell policy, you could say that you were a homosexual and they will release you from the military.
Oh, well, if they release you, that's different.
Well, I'm saying there's a difference.
No, Darwin, they're releasing you. You're not leaving because you're like, I'm done with this. I'm out. And then listen, and if you get a dishonorable discharge, you're not getting housing. You're not getting jobs. You're not getting any loans. You don't get no government assistance whatsoever.
Well, why should you? You signed a contract. If you don't honor a contract, why should you get all the benefits that say that?
All I'm doing is highlighting that this is not necessarily the most viable option for everybody. Now, if you encourage all people
you have to add a layer. You have to add an extra layer. It's not the viable option for everybody who wants to opt out anytime they want. You have to add that disclaimer to it.
Darwin, I said this can be an option, but I'm with Trev. I don't think it's an option for everyone.
I get it. What did I say earlier, Miss Pearl? I didn't say this had to be an option for everyone. I didn't say it had to work for everyone, but it's an option. Right, nonetheless, it's a better option than most, especially as an 18, 17-year-old, 19-year-old young black boy coming out of the inner city.
Gentlemen.
There's no other way you can argue that. It's no other argument.
I'm trying to argue.
Especially if you don't have a father in his life.
I'm trying to argue it.
Yeah, we got to move on. Bougie, you want to say something?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Shanice, hold tight real quick.
Hello, Shanice. I'm so excited to see you. Miss Don't Piss Me Off. Okay, love that. So I actually just wanted to say something super important that I just saw on Instagram. So I don't know if anybody knew this or not, but Colombia has finally banned child marriage and has raised the age to 18 because it used to be 14. And I thought that was a great announcement and a great thing, like politically. And I wanted to share that. So, yeah.
I wanted to cut. You said Colombia raised the marriage age?
Yeah, the marriage age
Anybody on
to
here
18.
from Colombia? Does it matter to anybody here?
It matters to me.
Is that what y'all
living
been
in Colombia?
trying to go over there to Colombia?
Are you talking about the passport, bros? You think they was trying to go get children, though? God damn.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
Hey, y'all know them boys be watching these. Y'all know they be watching these clips, so y'all gonna have to answer to that. Because y'all indirectly try to
did they
paint
raise
the
the
picture
age
like
of consent too, or just marriage?
What?
Oh, that's a good question.
No, I said did they also raise the age of consent or just marriage?
Both.
Okay.
It's to 18.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Good. That's a good.
Nobody. I don't know.
Anybody know why?
Did they allow 25-year-old women to marry 14-year-old boys?
What?
I'm just, I'm assuming she's talking about.
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like more so an issue that they were having where like the women were pursuing the younger men, but it was definitely the men pursuing like.
I was just wondering if it was like,
you know, like if you're an American citizen, right? You can't just like go to other countries and then it's lawful. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. You can't just be like, oh, okay,
you can't break the law in other people's countries.
A weird old time in another country, then come back and not if you were caught, you're going to be held accountable because you're a U.S. citizen. So anybody who thinks that you're going to be able to just go ahead and do that because you're somewhere else, you're still held by our laws.
That shuts down the narrative that Passport Bros was doing that, because if that's true, and it's safe to say that Passport Bros was not doing that.
Yeah, you can't just go over there as an American citizen.
If you were from Colombia, you probably could have did that, but you know.
Well, I never brought up Passport Bros. I just thought that was like, you know, some great news.
Dr. Lady O did. She said that's what
okay.
going down. Going over there. She ain't say that. She ain't say that.
I did. I didn't say Passport Bros. I said y'all try to go over there.
Bougie.
Y'all even worse. Even worse.
You know what I wish he would have talked about, Bougie? You know what I wish he would have researched? The progress on the mandatory DNA test in America.
I didn't research it.
I know you did.
Like what you're saying just isn't a trending topic. Nobody gives a shit.
What?
I guess. I don't know.
We do? What? Who don't give a shit?
Oh. Well, then why isn't it a trending topic? I just told you what a trending topic was. I didn't go and do research. I told you what people thought was important to make a trending topic.
Can you walk that back saying nobody gives a shit about mandatory DNA tests?
I said they might not give a shit if it's not a trending topic. I just read to you a trending topic. The same way every time we come on here, Lapeef picks trending topics for us to talk about, right? That's what he does. The next thing that he's about to talk about is something that is trending. Not that it's important, not that it's like political, not that it's anything. It's trending.
You don't think that's trending, especially in our community? Illegitimate children, bastard children.
Is that what you see on your algorithm? Because it's not what I see on mine.
I don't see it on my algorithm, but I know that.
Okay, so it's not trending. So it's not trending. It's not trending if you don't see it.
Does it have to be trending? Does it have to be considered
trending? No, you accused me of researching something. I said I didn't research anything. All I said was I made an announcement about a trending topic. That was it.
All I said was I would have been happy if you would have put your research efforts.
Why do I need to go and research that? I didn't research anything. I opened up an app on my phone and that was a trending topic.
Well, do me a favor. Go back to that phone and I want you to type in there mandatory DNA test.
I'm not doing research on shit.
Birth.
Period.
Damn. She don't like me, man.